Hey guys, Scott Patton here. We made it back from Florida, back down here on Chickamauga, and glad to be back home, even though we had a lot of fun down there on Okeechobee. But I've been out for probably about 10 days now, and I want to kind of give you what's happening on Chickamauga. And things are changing a lot. You know, we still got a cold front. Actually, we're going to get down in the 30s tonight, so it's going to change it. I know it's been warm the last couple of days. A lot's going on with the lake, you know. Like right now, the water's rose up probably about 6 inches or so, I must say. I haven't really checked the exact detail, but I drive across it all the time. But I've checked on the TVA app, but it's I'm gonna say 5-6 inches has come up. But I'm sure they're going to drop it right back down, and that's going to kind of hurt the bite some. And of course, this little cold front we got going on tonight, which I forget what the date is. What's the date on this, Diane? What's today's date?
28th.
28th. It's March 28th. So tomorrow or tonight we're supposed to have that cold front, and I know that the rain's over right now, and they're going to be drawing the lake back down. They're going to keep it down until about mid-April, unless we just get a ton of rain. So hopefully we do. We can have a little bit better fishing. So anyways, so catching that lake on the rise or steady, you're going to have a lot better bite down here. Of course, in warmer days, 2 or 3 nice warm days, it brings those fish up. They're wanting to come up. But it depends on Mother Nature and TVA, a whole lot of it, with what these fish do. But I'm going to kind of give you a scoop of what I've been doing and catching fish. And I'll do another one probably in a couple weeks, if that long. Like I say, things can be changing a lot, and I'm going to be on the water a lot too. So hopefully I can help you guys out that are coming down here, get on some fish instead of just coming down here and casting. You know, this lake can be really good or it can be really tough, and that's just the way Chickamauga or a lot of lakes will fish this time of year. So probably the 2 easiest things that I've caught fish on is a jackhammer and a crankbait, a shallow running crankbait. I'll go through the jackhammers first. I've been throwing the golden shiner one. It's done real well. Fishing it in more the stained water, and using a paddle tail trailer on it. They've been seem like they're wanting in the stained water some more action in it. It's been getting more bites. Caught several good fish on it. I have not caught any big fish yet, you guys. Have not even had them on, but been catching those, you know, 2.5 to 4 pound fish. It's done good. But I've been throwing that color there more in the stained water, off color water, especially you go in the creeks after these rains and stuff, you're gonna have water flowing in. Because when it rains hard and it dirties up that water and it stains up that water, and those fish are up in that, and that's where that golden shiner color has been good. But if I get in more of the real clear water, this clear shad, I think for sure exactly that's what they call it, but you can see it right there. It's a real clear bait. Got the nickel blade on it. Again, it's another jackhammer. It's done real well. And the key, I'm telling you, with everything, but even with these jackhammers, I have one guy cast them and one guy not cast them, and a lot of it's the speed of that retrieve. They want that thing super slow, just enough where you keep it off the bottom. And I'm catching them up in 1 to 2 foot of water versus maybe off, you know, in 8, 9, 10 foot of water. I've been focusing mostly on channel banks leading into these spawning areas. Like I said, the water's low, so we're really limited where you're going to get bit. So these are just staging areas for these fish, and this happens all the time. It happens on all the Tennessee River lakes. You know, I used to do the same thing on Kentucky Lake years ago, same type of pattern. Another bait that I'm throwing is a crankbait. You know, I've been throwing more the flat-sided one. This is a striking one here too. It's done real good. That color's done real good with me. Like I say, in the stained water. If I go to a clear creek or a clear section of the lake, I'll go throw more of a Tennessee shad. I've been throwing that bait right there, and then I've been throwing this right here is one of my favorites down here. On Chickamauga and even on Kentucky Lake, I used to kill them on this thing, big fish. But it is the 1.5 Lucky Craft in the moss greenback, I think they call it. It's just a little bit different color chartreuse. It's not your true blackened chartreuse, but it's just more. It's almost more of a faded blackened chartreuse. But that has been a real good bait, and it's been a real good bait for me down here over the years. And you know, you want to be throwing that too. Again, with these crankbait guys, slow retrieve. I've been throwing it on 12 and 15. I usually throw on 15. I think that's pretty much what I've been throwing on. And the reason I do that, because you can catch a giant down here if I run lay down or something like that, then you won't be able to get that fish out without him breaking you off. So I'll go with that 15-pound test Seaguar. Most time I use a Braze X almost all the time when I'm fishing, guys. Now on the jackhammer, back to it, I'm throwing on my 705 power rod. I love this rod with it. And I'm throwing the crankbait on the exact same rod. And it's a glass composite rod. I love this rod, great action. And I'm throwing a jackhammer on 17-pound test. I'm throwing on a heavier line just because I can still cast it even on these cold mornings. It's easier. I can still cast it. If I try to throw that crankbait on these cold mornings on that 17-pound test line, then it seems a little bit tougher to get that thing to cast out there. So that's what I've been doing with that. Another bait too that I've been throwing, it's been a vibrating bait. This is Lucky Crest LV 500. This is done real well. It's just you gotta fish it and you catch random fish with it. I'm throwing it on actually on 17-pound test monofilament. Now the reason I'm doing monofilament instead of fluorocarbon is because most of the bites I've had on this have been up real shallow, 1-2 foot of water. The LV 500 makes a lot of noise, but it's also a heavy bait. You hear that? It's also a heavy bait. And so with that monofilament, it helps me keep that bait from dragging the bottom too much. But they've been eating that gold. It always is a good color down here this time of year. That gold in the LV 500 right there, guys. That's a beautiful bait. And it's been catching fish for us almost every day. It's been a combination. It's not been one bait dominating over the other. It's almost been equal. So it really depends if you're fishing by yourself, then you could pick out one, or just go back and forth, because I'm telling you, you're going to catch them on both. I love to throw shallow running crankbaits this time of year, but Chickamauga is a great jackhammer lake, so make sure you're throwing that too. Next is just a black and blue jig. I'm throwing this on as like a 7.4, pretty stiff action PAL naked rod here. I'm throwing it on, I got it on 17-pound test line because I'm still throwing it around some wood and stuff. It's a 3/8 ounce jig. It's more of a small profile, so I'm going with black and blue. I call them a black and blue and green pumpkin, but black and blue seems to be catching more fish. And you kind of using it mostly around some laydowns and stuff off those channel banks, but I call them on just open gravel banks, in between the trees and stuff too. One thing I believe in is some kind of scent like this, and this is a bait pop. But I use this, I go with the blue color because it blends in, because it's stuff you can see on there. But with the water being cold like this, I'll put that on there. And the reason I will too, it's more for a forward-facing enhancer, which you can see your bait better. But when these fish are cold and sluggish, especially like a cold front's going to come through, and we're getting out of that stage, but the water still isn't warmed up all the way through. It may be, hitting 63 on the surface stuff, but if them fish that down there in 10, 12 foot of water, that water is not that warm. It's still in the low 50s, I promise you. And that's a lot of times where I've been getting some of these jig bites. But I'll put this bait pop on there, because if I get a bite and they pick it up and drop it, and they've been doing that, I feel like at least they can taste something that's more real than just steel or plastic. Okay, and the same things happen on that crankbait too. We'll be cranking that crankbait down through there, and you feel one pop it, and I'll kind of stop it and start reeling it again real fast. A lot of times that fish will come back and get it. He may come back and hit it, but you still don't catch him because they're just short striking at that daggone thing. But using the bait pop, I feel like myself, it helps as a scent enhancer, giving them something to taste in this cold water. I've always done that for daggone over 20 years. But another bait that you cannot forget, I've only caught a couple smaller fish on it, but it's getting ready to happen on this mag draft, guys. I got this on a 7.4 PAL rod, throwing on 20-pound test fluorocarbon, and no, I think I got that on 17. I'll go 17 or 20. They haven't really jumped on it real yet, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. A lot will happen this week, I'm hoping, because I love to fish this thing. Again, just throwing around laydowns on these channel backs and stuff like that. Fish this thing real slow, just get that tail wobbling and watch it, and a lot of times you have some really exciting strikes, and you can catch them on that mag draft this time of year. Again, as far as where I'm fishing, is on, it could be on the backwater side of the flats, on the channel banks, going into the mouth of creeks and stuff like that. Anything where I got deeper water before it goes into a flat is where I've been catching them. These fish seem to really been scattered out. I'm not really catching that many. I mean, we've caught 2 or 3 boom, boom, boom like that, but there's a big little water fish in those areas. But still, you got to cover a lot of water and keep that bait in the water. Again, slow. It seems to be the most important thing. I mean, I have some of these guys here, they're just fishing way too fast. I tell them slow it down, but I want to tell them, a couple times, but I feel like I'm repeating myself to them, but they just won't slow down. But I just get that, especially that crankbait stuff, I get it where I just feel it just barely wobbling back and forth. This is what these fish have been wanting. But that's kind of what I've been doing on Chickamauga with you guys. I've got some days open, and you guys want to book a trip, feel free to give me a shout. All the information's on here. I'll appreciate all you guys following me. It's good meeting all of you in person, stuff like that. If you see me down the boat ramp, give me a shout. I always appreciate that. And good fishing to you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. Leave a comment. Let me know how you've been doing. And hopefully we'll see you on the water. Good fishing, everybody.